There's a certain scent that drifts through the air in some elderly homes. It's not always strong. It's not always unpleasant. But it lingers. A little musty. A little sour. And the strange thing is, it shows up even when everything looks clean. Visitors rarely say anything. Family members brush it off. But deep down, you start wondering, where's it coming from? Why does it happen to some people, but not others? And most importantly, can it be stopped? Doctors have known about this for years. But hardly anyone talks about it. The truth is, this smell isn't just aging. It's often a quiet sign that certain areas of the body aren't being cleaned the way they should be, not because of laziness, but because they're easy to miss, hard to reach, or simply forgotten as mobility fades. And that smell? It can chip away at a person's confidence. Make them self-conscious. Keep them from hugging their grandkids. Or stop them from going out altogether. But here's the good news. This is completely fixable. And the solution starts with understanding 6 hidden spots most senior women, and even their caregivers, overlook during daily hygiene. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where those areas are, why they matter, and how a few simple habits can restore a sense of freshness, dignity, and well-being that every aging woman deserves. If you've ever cared for an elderly loved one, or plan to, you'll want to hear this. And if you believe aging should come with grace, not discomfort, just comment, "I care," below. And don't forget to subscribe to ElderTalks Daily, where aging is met with compassion, not silence. Because sometimes, it's the smallest details that change everything. It's one of the most forgotten places on the body, tucked away, out of sight, easy to miss. Behind the ears, and right at the base of the neck, where skin folds into gentle creases. Now picture this. A mess. Caroline, 79, had always kept a tidy routine. Brushed her hair every morning, dabbed on a little perfume, even used a scented body wash. But her grandson, while helping her with a new pair of earrings, wrinkled his nose slightly. There was a faint, sour odor. Not from her clothes. Not her breath. It was coming from just behind her ears. Why? Because that small, hidden area rarely gets the attention it needs. And as we age, oil glands slow down but don't stop entirely. What they do instead is collect. They trap sebum, sweat, old skin cells, and that builds up fast, especially if arthritis or stiffness prevents full head movement in the shower. And here's where many people get it wrong. They think shampoo running down the neck is enough to clean it. They think soap suds dripping from hair washing take care of those behind the ear creases. But it doesn't. Those oils cling. And over time, they smell. Not because someone is unclean, but because those tiny folds and tucked away skin don't get a direct, intentional wash. So what can you do? It's simple. Take a warm, damp washcloth. Add a touch of mild, non-irritating soap. And every few days, gently wipe behind the ears and along the neck crease. Don't scrub harshly. Just enough to lift away buildup. Then pat dry. It takes less than a minute. But the difference, in smell, comfort, and overall freshness, can be felt instantly. And speaking of hidden spots, there's one tiny area on the body that almost never gets cleaned, yet it can trap more bacteria than you'd ever imagine. It doesn't sweat. It doesn't itch. But when it's not cleaned, it creates one of the most stubborn odors in elderly care. Let's talk about that next. It's small. It's quiet. And most people forget it exists. The belly button. Now, imagine this, Ms. June, 82, had no major health issues. Still sharp, still mobile, still proud of her independence. But every so often, she noticed a faint, unpleasant smell that seemed to follow her, even after a fresh shower. She changed her laundry soap. Tried new deodorants. Even bought expensive perfumes. Still, the scent lingered. It wasn't until a home nurse gently cleaned inside her navel with a cotton swab, that the real source was uncovered. A mix of dead skin, lint, and old soap. A dark, moist pocket no larger than a fingertip, but enough to hold weeks, sometimes months, of buildup. See, the navel is one of those places that doesn't complain. It doesn't get irritated easily. It doesn't sting or burn. So it's easy to forget. But the truth is, it's a closed environment, perfect for bacteria and yeast to grow, especially when you add warmth and moisture from the stomach area. And here's the misconception: if I wash my body with soap, everything's getting clean. But water doesn't always reach inside the navel properly, and soap residue can even dry into a sticky film if it's not rinsed and dried thoroughly. Here's what really works: once or twice a week, take a cotton swab with warm water, or a touch of mild soap, and gently clean inside the navel. Not deep, not aggressively. Just enough to wipe away buildup. Then dry it completely. Some caregivers even add a dab of witch hazel or diluted tea tree oil to keep the area clean and fresh if there's recurring odor. It's one of those tiny tasks that feels small, but makes a huge difference in how someone feels about their body. And while the belly button might be easy to forget, the next area isn't just overlooked, it's the one that can cause the most embarrassment for older women, even if no one around them dares to say a word. It's a delicate topic. But if we're serious about elderly hygiene and preserving dignity, we have to talk about it. The groin area. Specifically, where the inner thighs meet the folds of the body. Ms. Dorothy, 76, loved her afternoon walks. She still enjoyed Sunday service and neighborhood coffee meetups. But lately, she stopped going. Not because of pain. Not because of illness. But because she said, quietly, "I just don't feel fresh down there anymore." And here's the hard truth. As we age, the skin in the groin area becomes thinner, drier, and more prone to friction. Sweat and heat can get trapped. Incontinence may become an issue. Even just sitting for long periods creates a warm, moist environment that bacteria and fungi absolutely love. The smell that can come from this region isn't just a matter of not washing, it's usually a sign of trapped moisture, fabric irritation, or overuse of heavy, perfumed products that upset the skin's natural balance. And here's where many caregivers and seniors get it wrong: they avoid the area out of discomfort. They think a quick rinse with water is enough. Or worse, they use strong fragrances that end up making things worse. Here's what helps: use a mild, unscented soap designed for sensitive skin. After gently washing, pat, not rub, the area dry, especially in the folds. Opt for breathable, cotton underwear and loose-fitting clothes. If moisture is a regular issue, a cornstarch-based powder or antifungal body powder, recommended by a doctor, can help reduce friction and odor. This is about comfort. This is about confidence. Because when someone feels unsure about how they smell, they start pulling back, from people, from hugs, from outings. And it doesn't have to be that way. Now, while the groin area is easily hidden, the next spot is literally on the ground floor of the body, and it carries every step of a person's day. Yet, it's one of the most neglected when it comes to odor and hygiene. Think about how much your feet go through every single day. They carry your entire body. They're wrapped in socks, stuffed into shoes, rarely getting a chance to breathe. And yet, they're often the last thing we clean properly. Mr. Roy, 83, was still active. He did his morning walks. Sat outside on his porch. Kept his old leather slippers by the door. But his daughter started noticing it, the smell. It wasn't coming from his clothes. Not from his room. It was his feet. Not the tops. Not even the soles. It was the space between his toes. And it makes sense. As we age, flexibility declines. It becomes harder to bend over. To lift one foot. To separate the toes and clean thoroughly. So those little crevices, they become a warm, damp hideout for sweat, dead skin, and bacteria. And when that builds up, the odor doesn't stay on the feet, it clings to socks, slippers, and even carpets. There's a misconception that a quick shower rinse covers everything. But water running over the feet isn't enough. Especially not for elderly skin, which needs gentler care, not just water pressure. Here's what actually works: use a soft cloth or sponge, something gentle, and clean not just the tops and bottoms, but in between each toe. After washing, make sure to dry between the toes thoroughly. Moisture left behind is a perfect breeding ground for fungus. Rotate between 2 or 3 pairs of shoes to let them air out. And if slippers or socks have held on to odor, toss them in the wash with a cup of baking soda or replace them if needed. This isn't about vanity, it's about preventing fungal infections, cracked heels, and the kind of lingering odor that silently eats away at someone's self-confidence. Because when a person starts feeling like they can't control how they smell, they stop showing up. They retreat. And no one deserves to feel that way. Especially not because of something as fixable as foot hygiene. Now, there's one more place we need to talk about. And this one is tricky, because it's not on the body exactly. It's something that touches the body every day. And if it's not cared for the right way, even the cleanest skin can start to carry an odor no soap can fix. It's the one area everyone thinks they're getting right. The underarms. We scrub them, we slap on deodorant, we spray perfume if we're feeling fancy. So why does the odor still linger? Ms. Janet, 81, had always been meticulous. Fresh clothes every morning. Showers every night. Her cabinet was filled with all kinds of deodorants, roll-ons, sprays, even clinical-strength sticks. But no matter what she tried, the scent under her arms just wouldn't go away. She was frustrated, even embarrassed. And she started blaming her body. But the real culprit wasn't her body. It was her clothing. Here's what most people don't realize. Deodorant residue, sweat, and skin oils don't just sit on the skin, they get trapped in the fabric of shirts, especially in the underarm seams. And if those clothes are washed in cold water, or not scrubbed properly, that buildup stays. It becomes part of the fabric. So even when the body is clean, the shirt still smells. And for seniors, where skin becomes thinner and more sensitive, strong commercial deodorants can irritate the area. That irritation, it leads to even more sweating. And more odor. Let's clear up the misconception: smelling under the arms doesn't mean someone's dirty. It often means their skin is reacting, or their clothing hasn't been fully deodorized. So what helps? First, exfoliate the underarms gently once a week. A soft washcloth and mild soap can do wonders in removing trapped bacteria. Avoid overly perfumed products, they may mask odor short-term, but often irritate the skin long-term. When washing clothes, especially undergarments and shirts, use warm water and add a bit of baking soda or vinegar to help break down old sweat residue. And rotate deodorant brands occasionally, some formulas stop working over time for certain skin types. It's not just about feeling fresh. It's about being able to lift your arms without worry. Hug someone without hesitation. And wear your favorite blouse without feeling self-conscious. Because nobody should feel ashamed of aging skin. Especially when so much of what's happening comes down to knowledge, not neglect. And when we start paying attention to these small, forgotten areas, something beautiful happens. We don't just remove odor, we restore dignity. We give confidence back to someone who might have felt it slipping. And that changes everything. It's easy to overlook these things. To think, it's just part of getting older. But here's the truth no one says out loud. When a senior woman starts avoiding hugs, pulling back from friends, skipping outings, or sitting a little farther from people at church, it's often not because she's tired. It's because she's self-conscious. She knows. She can smell it too. But she doesn't want to ask for help. And that quiet shame. It settles in. It grows. Until one day, she starts saying things like, "I'm fine right here," or, "No need for company today," when deep down, she's just afraid someone might notice something off. And that's heartbreaking. Because these women, our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunts, they've spent a lifetime caring for others. Sacrificing. Giving. Loving. And now, in the stage of life where they should be cared for with gentleness and respect, they're sometimes left to wrestle with something as personal and sensitive as body odor, alone. But it doesn't have to be that way. When you understand why these smells happen, and where they come from, you're no longer helpless. You're equipped. You can step in, not as a critic, but as a caregiver. A protector. A quiet hero. This isn't about scrubbing harder or buying more soap. It's about awareness. It's about love expressed in the simplest of ways. A soft towel. A cotton swab. A gentle reminder that says, "I see you. I care for you. You matter." Because there is so much dignity in cleanliness. Not perfection. Not obsession. Just a peaceful, confident sense of, "I'm okay. I'm cared for. I'm fresh. I can show up in the world without fear." And sometimes, that starts with nothing more than 6 tiny changes, 6 small areas that, when cleaned with care, give back something far greater than what soap ever could. It gives back self-worth. It gives back pride. It gives back freedom. And that is what every aging woman deserves. So let's take a moment to remember the 6 areas we covered today: the underbreast folds and belly creases, behind the ears and at the base of the neck, the navel, the groin and inner thigh creases, between the toes, and the underarms, plus the fabrics they touch every day. 6 small, often forgotten places. 6 quiet sources of discomfort. But also, 6 simple opportunities to help someone feel whole again. And this isn't just about odor. It's about identity. It's about helping someone age with grace, not shame. Because being clean isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's mental. It's deeply personal. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed changes like these in a loved one? Or maybe you found a small hygiene tip that made a big difference in someone's life. Share it below. Your story could help another caregiver or family member out there who's quietly struggling with the same thing. This is a community, and your voice matters here. And if this video opened your eyes, even just a little, please, tap the like button so YouTube shows it to more people who need it. And consider subscribing to ElderTalks Daily. We're here every week with real conversations, practical tips, and gentle wisdom to help you care for the people who once cared for you. Because aging is not something to hide. It's something to honor. And we do that best when we care, completely. So thank you for watching, for caring, and for showing up today. Stay kind. Stay present. And I'll see you next time.